Here comes your pre-market summary for Monday, April 24th. Futures struggling to get back into positive territory here after wrapping up last week. Remember, all three U.S. markets ended on Friday to the downside. The Dow, in fact, snapped a 4-week winning streak going into the weekend. That's how things are setting up right now. 0.08 for both the S&P and the NASDAQ. The Dow kind of chopping around as well, 0.1 downside, but all basically flat. To kick things off for the brand new week, 0.25% there for crude oil. A little more positivity than we saw on Friday coming through for cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin and Ethereum both back to the upside to kick things off. Let's have a look at the overall market to kick things off. Speaking of in a tight range, there is the S&P, or the SPY overall, still kind of holding on to the top end of the range. Same story for the NASDAQ ahead of major tech earnings coming through this week. The biggest of the bigs set to come all over the next 3 days or so. We'll talk about Meta coming up here this morning, showing a little bit more relative strength than the rest of them in the pre-market, although Amazon with a bit of a pop back to the upside this morning as well. There was a note on Microsoft. One analyst move downside this morning for Microsoft this morning, but overall the chart looking very similar to the overall NASDAQ, as you can see for Softy. Coke back on watch as well. We'll talk about that. Nice report right across the board this morning. They are out with earnings here in the pre-market, back above the 64 area, trying to get higher. Tesla, a number of things to note about Tesla here. They've updated their guidance on CapEx to the upside, which could be a bit of a question mark. And then this kind of interesting as well. They're going to start shipping a cheaper Model Y to Canada from China. So that's coming up for Tesla as well. Positive notes from both Susquehanna and Deutsche Bank on AMD this morning. We'll touch on that. And yeah, it finally came. Everyone was waiting, but Bed Bath & Beyond filing for Chapter 11 over the weekend. Make sure you grab the watch list, guys. If you haven't done so yet, use that QR code on screen right now. We're coming up at 8:30. A little light on the economic calendar until tomorrow and Wednesday, but a ton to talk about this morning. We'll see you shortly on TraderTV.Live.